Hey guys, so today we're going to talk about printing the DIY fish insert. So on your computer, if you have already purchased your inserts, which the DIY fish 2014 life mapping inserts are for purchase only and print at home, print and assemble at home. So you have to go to her site, which I will link in the description box below, and purchase on her Etsy, and then you would download it to whatever area on your computer you have it, which I have it in my own folder, and I have it under Filofax, and then I have DIY fish. So she has her own folder. And then I have right here, which is a 2014 A5 LMI, which means life mapping insert. So I have it there, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up I need to print April, so let's get to April. Alright, so let me show you guys one thing. When you purchase Fish's files, it'll come in the capability of printing it either on an A4 size, which let me zoom in, or right there is a letter size. I print on a letter size, which is a typical 8.5 by 11. The A4 size is a little bigger, but like I said, I print on these two. So as you can see right here, this file right here, it says 1 through 6, which means January through June, and then right here it's July through December. So I'm going to go open up this file right here, and it's a PDF file. And I'm going to scroll to April because that's the month that I am on that I need to print out. So we're going to get to that. Here's a quick tip as well. You can either use regular printer paper or multi-purpose paper to print on. I found that the multi-purpose paper that I was using in my printer was a little bit thinner than I'd like, so you could definitely see some bleed through with my inks or with my pens. I didn't really care for that. So what I actually ended up doing was I printed on this 96 bright 28-pound letter size paper that I got from Office Max. It's pretty much your choice what you want to use, but this is what I'm using because it's a little bit thicker and my ink doesn't bleed through as much as regular lightweight pound paper does. So just a quick tip on that. Alright, so we are in April, and April runs about page 219. Can you see that? There are 438 pages from January to June, which seems like a lot of pages, but and it is actually when it comes to print. But here's what I found to be my issue when I was printing, which is why I'm doing this tutorial. First of all, if you've never used the fish insert, you don't really know what placement would look like. So when it's printing, even though she gives pretty straightforward directions, it's kind of hard to imagine if you're doing it right or what to expect because it's not a traditional calendar. And so yeah, that's what I found to be a little bit perplexing when I first started printing my own fish. And I'm going to show you how I print it. And in the beginning, what I would suggest is you print a month at a time, just because you want to make sure that everything prints out properly, because it's going to be a pain if you print all the months all at once and then you find that the printing setup is incorrect. You know, because different printers do things differently. So instead of wasting paper, I kind of do things slowly but surely, which is, to me, works well. But not good for my patience factor. But anyway, this is what April looks like. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to print page 219 and 220 back to back. And let me show you how I do that. So here's my print screen menu, and as you can see right here, I'm going to go ahead and click print. And when it opens up the print menu, what I want to do is, you can see my little arrow right here, I want to do the current page, which is going to take me to page 219, just to be sure that I'm on the right path. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and click print, and then let my printer do its thing. And why I'm doing this like this is just I want to see how the pages print out, so that way when I have to reverse them, I'm sure to get all of the right pages back to back. Alright, so let me share with you guys something. So this is exactly the way my April page, my first page, or page 219, comes out of my printer. And my printer is actually a HP Office Jet Pro 8600 series, okay? So you need to take note of the way your paper comes out, because that determines the way in which you're going to put it back into the feeder to be able to print back to back. Alright, so this is page 220, which is exactly what you want to have on the back of page 219. And I know that seems like, yeah, duh, like, but if you don't pay attention to some of the pages, sometimes it's going to print on the wrong side if you don't really know your computer well or your printer well. So 219 goes on to 220, or the very first page of the month. The second page, or the back side of that, is going to look like this, okay, with the vertical calendar and then the week right there, okay? So let me just show you what it looks like in the printer. So I know that my page came out this way, okay? Now what I want to do is I want to go ahead and feed this back into my printer, into the tray, exactly the way it came out of the printer. So I'm just going to take this and put it like this, because what it's going to do is it's going to print underneath, because anything in my printer that I know, when I print something in this HP OfficeJet Pro 8600 series, prints on the bottom. So whenever it feeds, it goes like this and comes out underneath and over. And so I want to make sure that in order to get the right page printed back to back, I just take it and I just put it right on my tray, printed side facing up. And then again, opening up our print screen, clicking print, it's going to open up this thing again. I want to do current page, which is 220. Again, this is what page 220 looks like, and I'm going to click print, and then it's doing its thing. Alright, so let me show you really quickly what it should look like. So the very first page of April should look like this, where April being the month. This is your my monthly chart, which is where you're gonna write all your information down. It's like where you're gonna put all your projects that you have for the month or your tasks here. It has the calendar dates up here and whatnot. And then on the flip side of this, we're gonna flip it over. It should look like this, and this is the April calendar. That looks like that, and then the week thing, and then another my weekly chart right here, which is these are the tasks you are going to complete for week number 14. So again, this is one side and this is the other side. And when I remember when I first got my fish inserts, I could not for the life of me figure out how it would look. And so that's why I'm kind of showing you guys this like single version of each page, so that way you can see what it should look like when you're printing. Alright, so now we're getting on to the actual days of the week. So we're going to print from Monday through Sunday. And these are a little bit different because, as you can see, the layout is different. It actually goes vertical versus horizontally on a page. Or if I'm looking at the page, yeah, it's going up and down versus the other way. And now the thing about this is that you want to make sure that every single day on the back of that day is this blank page, which is your note page. And when I initially did printed my first batch of these, this is where I got kind of messed up, because the way my printer's set up, it's a little bit confusing and whatnot. So let me just show you really quickly. This is page 221, okay? And this is going to take us, we're looking for Sunday, so I'm going to scroll really quickly through. And Sunday takes us to, I want to say 232 it should be. So there's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Yep, 232. So here's Sunday right here. And here, and it's number 232. So what you want to do is you want to keep that in mind, okay? Because you're going to need that number when we go ahead and print. So now here comes a little bit of a tricky part. So we're going to go ahead and open the file thing again. We're going to come down here and we're going to say print, okay? But when the print dialog box opens up, okay, so we're going to go ahead and make sure that pages is ticked off, and we're going to go ahead and put the numbers 221 to, oopsies, to, oh, pages 221. What the heck is going on here? Why is it not letting me? Okay. through 232 because we knew that the number, but we want to do odd pages only. Oopsies, odd pages only. Hello. Odd pages only, okay? And then we're gonna go ahead, and this is gonna be the very first page. We're gonna go ahead and print. Alrighty, so these are pages 221 to 232, and I printed only odd pages, remember. Now we're gonna go back and we're gonna do this little trick on our computer and our printer. So we know how our printer already works. We know that it prints this way coming out, and we know that we have to feed it back in exactly the way that it came out, okay? So now I got my tray open. I'm just gonna go ahead and slide everything back in exactly the way it came out. And I'm going to close this thing up. Now back to my computer screen, and this can be a little bit time consuming, I'm not gonna lie. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go to File, we're going to go to Print again, open up, wait for the print dialog to open up. We're going to go to Pages, make sure the Pages is ticked off. We're going to change these numbers. We're going to put it back to 221 to 232, but this time we're going to say more options again. We want to do only even pages only, okay? And then you can go ahead and do reverse pages as well, which is what you need to do in order to make sure that it prints properly. So again, we're gonna click off, tick the pages, make sure that the page numbers are here, make sure that this time we're doing even pages only, and then click, make sure that this box right here, reverse pages, is ticked off, and then we're gonna go ahead and print. Alrighty, so let me show you how it came out. So this is the way that it came out. This is the reverse form, which is exactly the way you need it to be, because I'm gonna show you why in a second when I lay it down so you can see exactly how it should be printed. Alright, so here is a week. So the first week of April, this is what it looks like. And what you want to do is you want to see, so one side of the page is going to be an actual day. See that? It says Sunday, April 6th. And this side is for appointments, and this side is for different notes. And here is the water consumption, and here is a list of things to do. But on the flip side of that will be this, and this is your notes. So technically it's going to be day on 2 pages with the cut lines on it, and I will show you guys exactly how to use these cut lines, because not all people understand how to use that and what to use it with and how to get it just perfectly. Fish did a video on it, but I will show you people who are crafters how to utilize some of our fun tools to get it to work perfectly too. Okay, so let me show you guys. If I were to have these pages side by side, which I will show you guys the final after. So basically, in my Filofax, it's going to look like this, okay? So these 2 pages are going to be next to each other. So Saturday's right here, and then the note page is right there, and that's why it's called a day on 2 pages, because you have an actual day on 2 pages. And so all the pages are the same. One side has the date with the day, and the back side of it should have notes. And so that's what you want to ensure that your week looks like. Alright, now here is the second week of April, and this will be week 15. And again, you see it laid out a little bit differently, and I'm going to show you how this is going to fit into the inserts in a second once everything is done. But again, we're just going to go up here, we're going to go to File, we're going to go to Print, and for this one again, I'm going to print it one at a time, or 1 page at a time, to ensure that I don't mess up. So I'm going to print, and this is page 233, and I don't need to make sure, I just have to make sure that I'm doing the current page, and then I'm going to go down here and print, and when it comes out, I'm going to go ahead and refeed it back into my printer again, like I've showed you guys in the set before that, so that it can be on the right page or back to the correct page. So here is week 15 as you saw it on my computer, and here it is coming right out of my printer. So now we're just going to feed this into my printer again. And I'm going to move that on the side, open my printer tray and put it right back in the exact same way that it came out of the printer. So that page 233, we want it to be back to page 234. And this is what page 234 looks like. So again, we're just going to go individually for this one just to make sure that we don't mess up. Print. We're going to do current page again. And then we're going to print. Alright, so week 15, or week number 2 in April, should look like this. This is week 15. Here's my weekly chart again. If I flip it over, this is what it's going to look like. It's going to have my notes here and then week 15 here. And this is the part that was confusing to me, like figuring out, again, how things were supposed to look once I printed it out. Alrighty, so let's recap really quickly what we have printed so far, okay? So we did this page, which is the very first page of April, and this is what every single first page of every single month is going to look like, okay? It's going to look like this, backed with this right here, and then we're going to have the day on 2 pages, which we printed here, and you're going to see Sunday all the way to Tuesday, because the 1st of April starts on a Tuesday, and all of these things are backed with note pages, okay? And then we also printed out the next week, and this is what it looks like, week 15, and it's going to be backed again by this one right here that says week 15 here. And at this point you're like, what in good grief is that? How does that all match up? And I'm going to show you. So again, technically we have week 14 right there, and then we have week 15, okay? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys how to cut it and put it together. Alright, so now we're going to talk about cutting our inserts. And let me just say this, that printing is pretty simple once you get the gist of what I just showed you all. And so I'm going to just cut the first week, the first opening intro page of the month, and then the first week, and then the start of the second week, because after that it's all pretty much the same. It becomes repetitive, okay? And for all of you who are paper crafters, let me just say that this Fiskars board that actually has the little wire right here in the cutting bed, in the cutting groove right here, that is a guide for where you cut. This is a great board to use for this, for cutting this. If you don't have this, then another good thing that you can use is just a straight edge and an X-Acto knife, or you know, one of these little knives right here. My twinster happens to go to town with this. I happen to love this. It's just easier on my hands that way. So let me show you guys how this works, okay? So Fish already has the cutting lines set up, and I'm going to show you guys what it looks like. So if you see the bottom of this page right here, it says cut along here, and then we're going to score this way. So there's a line in between this, and that's pretty self-explanatory. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to look for the cutting line and the scoring line. So we know the cutting line is there. I'm just going to go ahead and line it up, and making sure that my dogs might be barking, making sure that the line matches up with the guide wire in my carousel, my cutting carousel. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and cut, okay, and trim it. And then right here, what you can do is you can come back and you can line the score line up with your wire again. Or no, it doesn't even have to be lined up. You could just put it in the cutting channel right here. Or you can use a scoreboard if you want to. Because I'm lazy right now and I don't really want to take out my scoreboard, I'm just going to go ahead and use the channel in my in my Fiskars thing and just use a bone folder, and I'm just gonna use that as a guide to, and don't push down too hard because you don't really want to damage the paper, and then as you fold it, it becomes easier. See that? So it goes like that. So that is the very first page of April. This is what it looks like, and it's going to be folded right like that, okay? And then we're going to come back and punch holes, which punching holes, you know, it just depends on what size you're using. But again, so like this is another one, and let me show you the cutting marks on this one. So the cutting edge is here, and then there's another cutting line here, and then right here in the middle is a score mark, okay? So once again, I'm going to start off by putting it in my trimmer and making sure that it lines up with my wire, and then I'm just going to trim, and then I'm going to turn it to do the other cutting edge, making sure that it's straight, and then trim. Then again, I'm just going to put it into my cutting channel, use my bone folder, and just go ahead and score it. And this is what it'll look like. Did I do that? Yeah, I did. Okay. Somehow I didn't score it well enough. Let me do it again. And that is what happens sometimes as you're making a live video, which I am not going to edit because you guys are just going to see all the bloopers. Okay, so here, oh, caramba. Anyways, it's supposed to be, why did that not come out good right there? Well, whatever. Here we go. Okay, so we're just going to go ahead and hold it on the score line. There we have it. You can crisp it up if you want to, like I just did right there, okay? So that would be the next thing. Now, these pages right here are a little, alright, so these pages are a little different. The daily pages right here, and let me show you why they're different. Because only, well, these have different cutting lines, the way she has them set up. So they're cutting lines at the corners. And let me just raise this up so that you can see. So on each corner, there are cutting lines. And let me show you guys how you would utilize these cutting lines. So, and her cutting lines are always on just one side of the paper, okay? As a heads up. Now, you can put like 3-4 pages in your trimmer at a time. That's what I do to save time because I'm a little impatient. So what I do is I just kind of make sure that they're all lined up. I put them in my Fiskars trimmer, and then I will make sure that the wire is going to match up here, this line with this line, okay? So let me just show you guys what that would look like. So here we go, making sure that it is on point on both edges so that it cuts it perfectly without being crooked. Now here's the thing about this. So this trimmer, this thing right here, our trimming blade, has a crossbar, okay? And there's a reason for that. This is especially great when it comes to this because we're gonna line our crossbar up with these cutting lines here. Okay, so this cutting line here and this cutting line down here. So let me show you guys what I mean by that. So we're gonna go ahead and look at it and say, okay, so you might, just to be on the safe side, kind of run it a few times just to make sure all of the pages are cut through thoroughly. And then we're gonna flip it over and we're gonna do it again 3 more times, okay? So remember, we're gonna make sure that that line and this line is lined up with the wire, and then our cross mark right here on our trimmer lines up with the side cutting edge or cutting line, and then we're just going to see how it goes right to that cutting line down here. We're just going to do it a couple of times just to ensure all. And we're going to do it again on the top and bottom. So line it up. Bring our cross mark back and forth. And then we're going to one last edge on the bottom. And let's see, and this one you don't really have to be extra careful with because it is the last edge, so it doesn't really matter. But I'm just going to show you what it would look like if you were to do it too with a straight edge, what it should look like, okay? So then you just run it back and forth again. And that's what it looks like. See that? It comes out just like that. And what you're left with is this piece right here, which is what Fish shows in her video. So let me do that one more time with the remaining pages of the week, and then I will show you how to assemble. There you have it. So now to assemble our pages, at least the first week anyway, let me show you how that's done. So this is the very first, let me clean off this desk first. Here we go. So this is April. This is the very first week of April. It's actually week 14. And we have Monday or Tuesday through Sunday, because Tuesday starts, the 1st of April starts on Tuesday. And so what it's going to look like is we're going to put it in like this, okay? So this is going to be week 1. So now if I had it in my Filofax, it would look like this, with the binder rings being right here, okay? So this is what it would look like. It would be, you would open it up and it would be here. Here's your monthly calendar. Here is your weekly chart for this week of the 1st through the 6th. And then here are some notes. This is where I put my menu planning for those of you who have seen my other video, which I will link somewhere here and in the description box below if you guys want to check that out. And then as we flip the pages, this is Tuesday, and it becomes again week on 2 pages with the day here, appointments here, notes, and notes here. Wednesday again, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Now Sunday is a funny little thing because Sunday backs up to this other page here, which is another, this is gonna go into week 15. So this is what Sunday would look like. And so actually, technically, when we printed it out, it looked like this. See that? And so now what happens is, pretend these are the binder rings right here. So this is Sunday, here are the notes, just like you have for all the other days. But this is going to fold in like that. And then we will be starting on week 15. And week 15, again, is going to consist of the same kind of pages, but different days, different numbers, and it's going to tuck right into here. And so that's basically how the DIY Fish life mapping inserts work. And I love them, and I highly recommend them for those of you who are interested in the system. For me, like I said, I didn't really know how to set it up. I didn't know what I was doing when I was printing, even though she gives pretty good directions. It really depends on your printer, and my printer was a little fickle, and so that's why I had to kind of do it individually first, so that, because the first time I did it, I really messed up. I wasted a lot of paper and ink, and I was a little frustrated. It actually took me like a few days to figure out how to do it, and I was conversing back and forth with Fish to figure out what I was doing wrong. And so once I figured out my actual printer, it worked wonderfully, and I was able to print not a problem. But I do print still, even though I know my printer and my computer, I do still print a month at a time, just because I don't want to print in bulk and mess up and then have to waste paper and waste ink. Okay, so that's just my recommendation. Like I said, it is time consuming, sometimes can be time consuming, and you know, it does take your own ink and ink and paper. You can send it off to get printed by printers like any kind of office store or whatever, but they won't cut it for you. That's the only, you know, downside to it. But other than that, I mean, I technically, I love this system. There are some things that I am working on with Fish, and hopefully we can come together with a project that I have going with her, and then I will showcase that for you guys in the future. So I hope this was helpful, and if you guys have any questions, please let me know in the comments below, alright? And I'll talk to you guys later. Take care. Bye.